After Thanos cut Earth's population in half, a thrilling ancient breed of superheroes rises again to protect Earth from the most brutal enemy since Thanos, the Deviants. These vicious creatures plan to destroy life on Earth to prevent the Celestials from evolving. The Eternals, the Celestials' army of ethereal beings, are forced to reunite after eras apart. They're the only chance humankind has to survive. Ajak, the Prime Eternal, leader of the group, opens a ceremony where all 10 members of the Eternals get ready for a mission. Ikaris and Cersei are the first ones to meet each other. They gaze at a blue planet they are about to travel to. On Earth, a human child and his father fish for food, but the man is attacked by a deviant, sent to Earth to reduce its population. The alien heroes fight the deviants effortlessly to protect humanity. Each Eternal has its singular ability. Druig is able to reset people's memories, which helps their missions to remain undiscovered. Cersei manipulates matter, as she does with the little boy's rock knife. She turns it into a golden dagger that becomes a historical artifact centuries later. The link between the Eternals and history is strong. Cersei was chosen as Earth's guardian and lives as a museum curator in London. Like any other day, she goes to work, but is soon interrupted by what seems to be an earthquake. The room is full of children attending lectures. That's the moment Cersei displays her power. To save a little girl, she turns a huge stone into dust. The girl is safe, and the earthquake is over. She moves on. Later that day, she enjoys a night out with her boyfriend, Dane Whitman, and one of her oldest best friends, who's also an Eternal, the witty Sprite. Cersei hides her alien nature from Dane, but not for too long. A deviant appears in London, and Cersei and Sprite are forced into action right there, in the middle of the streets. Sprite is an illusionist, and tricks the deviant by multiplying herself, as a way to stall the deviant's attack. As Dane already suspected, Cersei reveals her unique power by turning an out-of-control bus into rose petals. She's so sweet. Besides the vicious deviant, they've another surprise visitor, Ikaris, another powerful Eternal. Given the circumstances, Cersei is obliged to explain things to Dane, who's made utterly uncomfortable by Ikaris' presence. She tells Dane their long relationship history. Things settle down, and Cersei takes Sprite and Ikaris home to talk. They come to the conclusion that everything that's happened in the last few hours is too strange, and that they should gather the other Eternals. There are 7 of them left to be found. A horde of deviants attacks a village in 575 BC Babylon, and the Eternals suit up to fight it. This is a memory that showcases the might of this supergroup. Quickly, they defeat the deviants. As always, the Prime Eternal, Ajak, reports to their supreme leader Arishem. She's uncomfortable with his idea of terminating their mission on Earth. Back at their ship, Phastos, the Eternal Engineer, presents a groundbreaking invention he intends to gift humans with, a steam engine, but Ajak is reluctant. So he swallows his pride and comes up with something simpler, a plow. Ajak is a big advocate of the human capability of doing great things. Back in Babylon, Sprite entertains the people with her illusions, while Thena and Ikaris disagree on some principles. Lakari, the Speedmaster, explains in sign language her singular characteristic, as Druig translates from sign language to Babylonian. They have a special connection. Ikaris sounds much more faithful to Arishem than Ajak and tries to interfere with her plans, but understands that Ajak is the one calling the shots. They go on with their routine of assisting humans in their evolution. The chemistry between Cersei and Ikaris as they go on with their day is undeniable, and so they fall into each other's arms, at last. The Eternals now travel to the Gupta Empire, and Cersei and Ikaris get married in a beautiful ceremony. But the present day, as they travel from London to North Dakota, reminds them that that bond may be over. They arrive at Ajak's isolated home, but she doesn't answer. They look around the place and find Ajak immovable and cold on the ground. Ikaris is certain that a deviant did that to her. They lost their leader. Sprite believes that the deviant that ended Ajak's life took some of her powers, but Ikaris isn't so sure. Cersei is the only one mourning Ajak's loss, and is caught by surprise when Ajak's powerful sphere, which allows her to communicate directly with Arishem, is transferred into her. Arishem warns Cersei that it's almost time, but she doesn't know what it means. It's 1521 AD in Tenochtitlan, and the mesmerizing Aztec civilization is being destroyed by the Spanish, but the Eternals are there trying to minimize the damages. Druig tries to interfere in the battle, but is warned by Ajak that they can't step into their wars. Druig argues that this kind of war is not fair, they can't fight with equal firepower. The group has strong opinions, and is not afraid to share them. Meanwhile, Thena seems to be in a trance, and shockingly, attacks her partners. The violence of the world takes its toll on her sensitive mind. The only Eternal strong enough to contain her is Gilgamesh, one of the strongest heroes ever. Thena suffers from something called Mod Wiry, something like Alzheimer's for superheroes, which makes her incredibly dangerous. Thena's condition brings to the surface delicate issues concerning Ajak's leadership. Druig is one of the loudest voices, claiming that her decisions continue to be questionable, and that her idea to reset Thena's mind is absurd. He has a deep sense of guilt for not being allowed to save Tenochtitlan, and many other civilizations Earth lost throughout history. Druig decides to go rogue and take the survivors. Gilgamesh commits to Thena and promises Ajak he'll take care of her. It's clear that the group is broken, so Ajak sets them free to live their lives as if they were human beings, living a great and pompous life in today's world. Kingo shocks Ikaris, Cersei, and Sprite with his lifestyle, a famous Bollywood actor. Kingo's smile fades when he learns Ajak lost a battle against a deviant. Ikaris highlights the importance of their getting together as they get to know Kingo's lifestyle on Earth. They arrive at Gilgamesh and Thena's home in the desert and tell him the bad news about their leader. Thena is in a vulnerable state of mind, and Gilgamesh works tirelessly to keep her together. Sprite's moves help Thena remember who she is, and she comes back to her senses. Cersei confides to Gilgamesh her fear of stepping into Ajak's place. She has a conversation with Erisham and learns his horrific true plan. The Eternals were sent to Earth to fight the Deviants and protect human life until the celestial Tiamat is ready to emerge. To do that, Tiamat would feed from humans to gain its celestial strength. Her love for humans makes Cersei question Erisham's intent. However, the revelations that follow are even more disconcerting. Erisham shares that the Eternals are not from the planet Olympia, that there's no such planet. It also reveals to Cersei that the Eternals are much older than they thought, and they have forged Celestials for millennia. Cersei is devastated. Erisham also reveals that Ajak has chosen Cersei as the new Prime Eternal, destined to lead Tiamat's emergence. She reports the whole nonsense story to the other Eternals. Sprite brings up a theory about Thena's condition, the Mod Wiry, as being a glitch in her system that messes with her, as she sees fragments of past lives they aren't supposed to recall. Although Cersei is the new leader, Ikaris doesn't stop making decisions for the group. So, he decides to look for the others. Druig is the next. Druig protects a community in the Americas after the decimation of the Aztecs by the Spanish. He's reluctant to join the Eternals again. They finally get to settle down a little bit. The forest gets peaceful again. Sprite talks to Kingo about her inability to accept the fact that Erisham made her look like a child. She wants to live her life to the fullest, but can't. Cersei shares with Ikaris her concerns about Tiamat's emergence. She wants to stop it, but Ikaris tries to convince her otherwise, arguing they are wired to always obey Erisham. Their conversation is suddenly disrupted by a brutal deviant attacking Ikaris. The Eternals unite to protect themselves and the village. Thena is afraid to fail to protect everyone. Ikaris is viciously attacked. At this point, they're surrounded by deviants. Gilgamesh worries for Thena's safety. The fight is long, and Gilgamesh falls into the hands of a deviant that sucks in some of his powers. Gilgamesh is in a bad shape. After begging Thena to remember who she is, he perishes, making every Eternal present mourn a deep loss once again. Cersei tries to convince Druig to get into Erisham's mind, so they have a chance to win, but Druig is too skeptical of the good in their nature. They need Phastos to put their plan into action, but he grieves over the monstrous events that humans went through, using his tech to destroy entire population. Ikaris and Cersei go to him anyway. Phastos is now a family man, with a child and a husband. He has a lot on his plate, and doesn't want to risk it all. His partner convinces him he's destined to do more, and that he should go with Cersei and Ikaris. The group is complete, and headed to Iraq to rescue their ship. Back when he was found and recruited again, Kingo decided to bring his valet with him and shoot a documentary about the Eternals. That's making everyone mad. After thousands of years, the ship has remained sealed away from everyone except for Makari, who collects historical artifacts now. They begin to craft a plan to defeat Erisham. Phastos, the inventor, comes up with the idea of connecting their minds, in order to have a chance to defeat Erisham once and for all. That's when the opinion starts to differ again. Kingo sides with Ikaris on allowing Tiamat to emerge, but Cersei and the others are against it, if it's going to cost human lives. Ikaris recalls his last conversation with Ajak, and she talks to him about the emergence, and the role they've got to play in all of this. She plans to get the Eternals together to stop Tiamat's emergence. Ikaris is completely against it, but tells Ajak he's on her side, and that he just needs to show her something. Several deviants trapped in a frozen lake now begin to set themselves free. Ikaris is incredibly disappointed in Ajak for her plan to stop the emergence, and makes a monstrous decision. He throws Ajak to the pack of deviants on the lake, starving creatures that don't take long to feed on her and absorb her powers. The deviants share all that power and become stronger than ever. Meanwhile, Ikaris, the traitor, takes what's left of Ajak back to her ranch and stages an attack by the deviants. Cersei senses that the emergence has started, and Phastos has to work faster than ever to put together the Uni-Mind, the device that will allow them to connect their minds and become even more powerful. Ikaris is the only one who's not participating, and Cersei finds him suited up to leave. He blasts Phastos' design, and reveals his true intention to let the emergence be completed. The group understands that he's responsible for the loss of their Prime Eternal. Things get nastier when Makari speeds into the ship, sharing that she's found Tiamat. Ikaris' laser eyes aim directly at her, and Kingo gets in the way. Makari is the only one so far who knows where Tiamat is, so Kingo tells her to leave at once. Kingo, the one who once sided with Ikaris, now says Ikaris is making the wrong choice, and that he's staying with his family. On the other hand, Sprite doesn't flinch, and follows Ikaris faithfully. She's been in love with him for a long time. Kingo adds that, even though he doesn't agree with Ikaris' rebellion, he also believes that the emergence should happen, and that they're not entitled to prevent a new world from being created. So he leaves the group. Druig, Cersei, Phastos, Thena, and Makari are outnumbered now, and must come up with a plan B. The fact that Cersei managed to turn a deviant into a tree makes them excited and a bit hopeful. That was the first time she ever did such a thing. Everything is more confusing than expected when Cersei explains to them that she doesn't plan to destroy Tiamat or any other celestial. She simply wants to stop it from destroying Earth. Cersei is conflicted, but Thena's wisdom brings her back to her feet. Phastos' brilliance doesn't cease to amaze them all, as he has the idea of using Cersei's sphere to bind them together, instead of staying connected to Arishem. This way, the Uni-Mind would be strong enough to fight Ikaris and Sprite. With the sphere in hand, Phastos get to work. The Eternals suit up for the mission of their lives. Ikaris and Sprite wait patiently by the emergence site, but the Eternals arrive there as well. Sprite is supposed to guard the emergence while Ikaris stops the group. Thena is the first to fight him, and she is fierce. Her connection to Cersei, Druig, Makari, and Phastos heightens their powers immensely. Ikaris takes out his anger on Druig and their ship. Makari is furious at Ikaris for attacking Druig, and goes berserk on him. Things get harder when Tiamat begins to emerge through a volcano. The Eternals left on the island fight the debris, while Makari fights Ikaris relentlessly. Cersei decides to get closer to Tiamat to stop it, and commands the others to distract Ikaris in the meantime, but the deviants are coming their way. Now, Thena, Phastos, and Makari have to fight Ikaris and his new assistant, a powerful deviant. Phastos' powers keep improving, and he puts together a series of cosmic ropes to hold Ikaris back. It's a power Ikaris has never seen coming from Phastos. Thena ventures into a cave, but the deviants try to play with her broken mind. Halfway to Tiamat, Cersei sees Adjec's image talking to her, saying she's not strong enough. Cersei spots right away that it's Sprite's doing, and so she reveals herself by attacking Cersei and speeding up the emergence. Magically, she's stopped by Druig. He's back. Cersei keeps going, and Thena keeps fighting the deviant on steroids. Her fractured mind is invaded by the deviant, but she's lost, and regains control over her life. A tsunami forms as Tiamat comes up from the center of the earth, but Cersei stays strong. Ikaris is free and ready to do everything to stop Cersei, but he remembers the love he feels for her. Cersei feels the same, but keeps going with her plan, and the Eternals are united by the strength of the Uni-Mind overpowering Tiamat. At last, she turns Tiamat into a glacier. Ikaris is inconsolable and flies away from Earth. Good riddance, to be honest. He fulfills the myth of Ikaris, the boy who flew too close to the sun. Makari is relieved Druig is back safe and sound. Sprite is embarrassed about everything and devastated by Ikaris' disappearance. All Sprite ever wanted was to be human, to be able to grow up and experience the world like everyone else, but she never could. Cersei proposes to turn her into a human being, and she accepts it emotionally. The battle is over, and they're back at Phastos' family's house. Thena bonds with his child, who loves her powers. After everything they've been through, it's a good moment to take a deep breath. Thena, Druig, and Makari board the ship and leave. In London, Cersei says goodbye to Kingo and Sprite, who leave together. It's time for Cersei to face Dane Whitman. They have a heartfelt conversation and sort things out, but Dane still has a secret to share with her. He doesn't have time to explain, though, because Arishem abducts Cersei, Kingo, and Phastos. Dane is alone again and has an important decision to make. Back in outer space, Thena, Druig, and Makari decide to go back to Earth and look for the others, but they're not alone. Someone is in their ship. A troll makes its way into the ship and introduces another invader, the brother of Thanos, Ikaris, who claims to know where the other Eternals are and says he'll help find them. Back in London, Dane uncovers his family mystery, an ancient sword whispering to him, luring him into picking it up. It's not an easy choice to make, and a mysterious man in the background asks Dane if he's really ready to hold that blade.